Hello everyone, Archana is here. Welcome to the fourth session of presentation, ICSE Class 9, Paper 2, Literature in English. In today's session, let us continue with the poem, The Cold Within, written by James Patrick Kenny. In previous session, we have learnt about the poet and first 5 stanzas. So here, let us just brief what happened in first 5 stanzas and next continue with the remaining stanzas. In the first stanza, it is the opening of a narration as is recalled by the poet himself. The first line, 6 humans trapped by happenstance, means that the 6 individuals and not a group of 6 people are trapped or stuck at a situation owing to chance, which also means that they aren't together out of will but are brought together by their fate. Whereas the use of the word trapped signifies that they aren't really happy in the situation. The second line, however, tells us about the weather, which is bleak and bitter cold. In this line, the poet is trying to make his readers familiar with the setting of his narration. The poet further informs his readers that each of 6 humans possessed stick of wood, as he recalls a story once heard. Hence, the first stanza sets the scene of the narration that is to follow. In the second stanza, it is actually the second phase of the narration. It is in this stanza that we get to know the first character of the story, as the first stanza has already made clear that the story took place in a bitter cold. Hence, the line, "They are dying fire in need of logs," further establishes the point that the prospects of the characters in the story aren't really good, as they are all stuck with each other in this cold weather, where the only source of heat, which is a dying fire, and is in the need of logs. But the first man who has a log which can save the fire from dying held his back, which means that he has refused to give his log, not because he is selfish, but because he sees a black man sitting around the fire. He would struggle rather than save a black man. Thus, he chose to struggle rather than give his log to the fire, which would have saved him and the black man also. So in the next stanza, in the third stanza, the poet describes another sort of tension prevailing in the story, which is discrimination based on religious differences, also known as bigotry. The next man refused to give his log into the fire because he saw a man sitting around who did not belong to his church, does not share his religious ideology. And in the fourth stanza, the poet introduces the third one sat in tattered clothes, which meant that this man is poor. And as his clothes are tattered, so he must be struggling more than the others in this cold weather. The poet further describes that this third man pulls his cloth closer to his body. He gave his coat a hitch. You can see the line in the fourth stanza. He gave his coat a hitch, means because he was cold and yet refused to give his log to save the dying fire, as he did not want to help the idle rich. In this stanza, the poet showed the discrimination based on the economic standard of different individuals. And the next stanza, the fifth stanza, in this stanza, the poet says that while the poor man refused to help this idle rich, the latter isn't really bothered, as he is busy calculating as to how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. By what he had earned, the poet is actually referring to the log that he has with him. The thing to be noticed or noted in these two stanzas is that both poor and the rich has the prejudice about the other of being idle and lazy. Now, let us know what will happen in remaining stanzas. That is 6th, 7th and 8th stanzas, and it will be continued by the conclusion and home assignments. 6th stanza. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Even the victim becomes an abuser here. We know the black person had experienced racism, revenge for the atrocities he had faced from the white people was the only thing on his mind. One wonders if he had already resigned himself to die. He saw the fire pass from his sight. He realized that the fire was fast getting spent, but the spark of human kindness had died in him, and literally too he chose to let the group's fire die. He would perish, but he would take the others he hated down with him as well. So here the 5th person was a man with dark skin, and all he thought was of taking a revenge on all the wrongs done to him. All he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to exact revenge upon the white-skinned man. Being the victim of racial discrimination, he has decided to give the white guy a taste of his own medicine, even if it translates to him dying as well. He had internalized the discriminatory logic of the system, which is effectively captured by the internal rhyme. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. So all the characters in the story use their firewood as a tool of retribution and end up becoming a victim of their own hatred. Next stanza. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. For the first time in the poem The Cold Within, the poet foreshadows the fate of the group by finally describing the bunch as forlorn or hopeless. Until then, the poet had reserved his judgment, allowing the reader instead to examine each individual in turn and derive his or her own conclusion. Unfortunately, we find that the last person also perpetuates the vicious circle of inertia. The person's attitude refers to a look shared between people, where each hopes that the other will do something that all of them want, but none are willing to initiate. In giving just to get, the last person played a losing move in the game. Here, game, a metaphor for the game of life. So here, the last person of the group did nothing except for profit. He believed only in giving to those who gave something back to him. This was the way he played the game of life. So he too did not part with his stick as no one else had. He too did not put his stick to the fire to burn as nobody did so. The selfishness of the 6th man is also the part of a larger problem. Everybody in this poem seemed to give only to those who give them social approval by belonging to the same class, creed, or color. 8th stanza. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. So we witness the grim aftermath of the group's rigidity of spirit. Death comes and it is personified here with stilled hands. Personification means giving life to the lifeless thing. So each individual became their own agent of death, their hands frozen stiff with their refusal to act. The fact that each of them still possessed their firewood when they died suggests the twisted motives in retaining their firewood. Proof enough of sin. The final lines abound with irony. We realize it was not the cold weather outside that really killed the group after all. It was the cold in their hearts, the lack of warm human spirits, the cold within. The entire group perishes in the end, all holding their fire sticks. They have failed to be of use to each other due to their inherent prejudices. They refuse to acknowledge each other's humanity, and in doing so, they die despite having the resources to keep themselves alive. A personification, death's still hands, is used to highlight the consequences of committing this sin against humanity. They kill each other through inaction. This inaction is the product of the cold hatred they have against a single person, not everyone in the group. And in the process of killing others, they end up killing themselves. The conflict in the story is both external and internal in nature and may be seen in relation to two components of the poem. The characters are in conflict with their external environment, that is, the cold, and at the same time, by being pitted against each other and refusing to use their wood. This external conflict reaches resolution in the death of all. The poem ends by stating that the reason behind their death wasn't the cold outside, but the cold hatred and prejudice they had in their hearts. A cool heart soon becomes a dead heart, and a dead heart is always a cold one. The cold, the fire, and the stick of wood have dual significance in the poem. Literally, the cold outside is a harbinger of death. Harbinger means a signal of death. The fire is its antithesis and stands for possibility of life. And the sticks they have is a resource to keep the fire. Once again, I'm repeating. Here, the cold outside is a signal of death. The fire is its antithesis and stands for possibility of life or fire. And the sticks they have in is a resource to keep the fire burning. Symbolically, the coal within represents hatred and selfishness. The fire represents love and common good, and the firewood they hold is symbolic of prejudice they have against each other. They must let go their sticks of prejudice and let it burn in the fire of love and fellow feeling if they are to ward off the cold. A harbinger of death, a signal of death, and keep the fire of life burning. However, because they cannot overcome the hatred and apathy that is the cold within, they fail to let go their prejudice, and everybody dies holding their firewood of prejudice. So here we have wound up the poem. Let us conclude the poem. The poem, The Cold Within, is a didactic poem. Though simple and straightforward in style, it conveys a profound meaning. It conveys a noble message in the form of a parable. The message is suggestive. Here, trapping of six human beings. The setting can be anywhere. Just by chance, six human beings get trapped in bitter cold. They are all sitting near the dying fire, their only hope of survival. Each one of them has a stick of wood. If any one of them gives up the stick, it will keep the fire burning and all of them will survive. But sadly and strangely, each has a reason to hold his or her stick back. The first of the group is the woman who does not want to give her stick, as it will save the black man's life, whose face she has seen in the light of the fire. The second man holds back his stick, as one of them he has noticed does not belong to his religion. The third is a very poor man in tattered clothes. He holds back his stick, thinking that it should not be used to warm the rich man among them. The fourth, a rich man, holds back his stick. He wants to keep his wealth away from the undeserving, lazy, poor persons. The fifth, the black man, is full of hatred for the white people. He wants to hurt the white somehow by holding back his stick. The last man of the group has his own reason to hold his stick back, as no one else is ready to renounce his stick, so he too will not give his stick or put his stick to the fire to burn. He thinks he will only give to those who give first. All perish. So all of them perish not because of the coldness from the outdoors, but because of the coldness in their hearts. The cold within conveys a useful message. It points out that we must have tolerance and love for one another. We should be kind and generous towards our fellow human beings. The cold within gives us a useful message through a little story, a small story. Six human beings found themselves trapped together in extreme cold. Their fire, their only hope of survival in the cold, was fast dying. Each one of them held a stick of wood. If any one of them gave up his or her stick to feed the dying fire, all of them had the chance to survive. But sadly, none of them was ready to oblige for one reason or the other. It was not the cold without, but cold within, which was sure to perish them. This cold within refers to lack of feelings for others, cruelty, indifference, hatred, so on and so forth. Like a good parable, the poem conveys the idea that we must tolerate, if not love, one another. We should be kind and generous towards our fellow human beings. We should not allow religion, color, or any other prejudice to become mean, selfish, and even self destructive. The theme of the poem, the cold within, refers to the lack of feelings for or hatred of others, which is nothing short of a cardinal sin. Many of us develop this coldness in our hearts out of some prejudice. This prejudice may relate to race, color, caste, religion, or region. It makes us mean, stingy, selfish, greedy, or unkind. In the poem, The Cold Within, six persons trapped together in extreme cold somewhere perish some because of the one or the other prejudice. The coldness in their hearts rather than the coldness outdoors proves fatal to them. This group of six people is near the fire which is fast dying. Each one knows that it is only the fire that can make them survive. Each has a stick of wood which can keep the fire burning. Ironically, no one is willing to give up his stick for one reason or the other. The result is their death by cold within. This is the major theme of the poem. The idea is that the coldness in man's heart is a kind of death. Another theme of the poem is leading a life of sins. The poet shows that each one of us, represented by six humans, is afflicted with some kind of prejudice or sin, represented by the log of wood in each hand. So, here, each one of us is represented by six humans, and our prejudice and sin represented by the log of wood in each one of their hands. The most obvious sins are of spite, stinginess, greed, revenge, etc. etc. The poem shows that each person in the unlucky group holds on to his or her stick, which should have been given to the dying fire. Had they given up their sticks, their sins, to be consumed by purifying fire, they might have survived if they would have given it, or might have gone to the other world without the burden of their sins. But they preferred to die with their sins in their minds. The poet gives a kind of message, a warning to us when he refers to their tragic end. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They did not die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Now, let's know the literary devices used in the poem. Symbols. The use of symbols throughout the poem is almost self-explanatory. A log of wood in each hand is suggestive of sin. It becomes obvious that if logs are added to the dying fire, it will mean helping out someone other than one's own self. If the logs are held back, as indeed they are, it means holding on to the sins even beyond death. Each person's prejudice, envy, greed, revenge, spite, intolerance is thus symbolically represented by the stick of wood in each hand. Personification. Personification, the word meaning is it is a literary device where inanimate objects and abstract notions are spoken of as having human attributes or qualities. In a simple way, I would like to put it in this way. Personification means giving life to the lifeless object or lifeless things. Here, death is personified when the poet says, death's still hands. Metaphor. Metaphor is nothing but implied simile, comparison, without using like, as, or than. Metaphor, it is a literary device used in an imaginative way to show that somebody or something has the same qualities as another thing. For example here, log of wood, metaphor for sin. Fire, it is metaphor for enlightenment. The cold within is a metaphor for lack of warmth, hard-heartedness, self-centeredness, and inability to reach out to others. It is more dangerous than anything else. Alliteration. Alliteration is a literary device where a series of words begin with the same consonant sound. For example, 6 humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. But the first one held hers back. For of the faces and the fire, the black man's face bespoke revenge. For all he saw in his stick of wood, they did not die from the cold within. So here we have wired up the figures of speech. You have synonyms here. Please go through the synonyms. You can find stanza-wise synonyms, which are the possible difficult words. I felt that you might feel it quite complicated to understand. So those meanings I have included here. Please go through it along with the textbook. And before we go to the home assignment, I would like to speak about the title of the poem. How apt the title of the poem, The Cold Within, is. The title of the poem, The Cold Within, is simple, apt, and suggestive. In the last stanza, the poet himself explains it. The coldness which we carry in our hearts is dangerous and fatal. It prevents us from reaching out to others, from helping and saving ourselves and others. It makes us lead a sinful life. The aptness of the title comes through the tragic end of the 6 persons who hold on to their sticks and let the life-saving fire go out in the deadly cold outside. They are consumed by the cold within their hearts. So overall, the characters in the poem see the differences between them instead of the similarities. These assumed differences result in hatred of the other person, thereby ensuring mutual destruction. The poet urges all of us to examine the stick of wood that we have with us and throw it into the fire. Our mutual acknowledgement and appreciation of each other's humanity, transcending the narrow confines of class, caste, creed, and color, is the only way humanity can keep the fire burning. And with increasing polarization of modern society, precisely along those fault lines, it might as well be our last chance to protect the dying fire. The poem appeals to a heart forcefully. It asks us to give up all our prejudices. We should stop being unkind, ungenerous, greedy, revengeful, or spiteful. If we do not give up our prejudices, we are sure to hurt ourselves and others equally. Prejudices, which are sins, are self-destructive. Home assignment. Read the extract given below and answer the questions that follow. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. First question. Who were the other 4 men in the group referred to earlier? Second question. What were the prejudices in the minds of the poor man and the rich man? Third question. What did the black man's face reveal? Fourth question. How could he hurt the white man? And the fifth question. Why was each of the men in the group unaware of self-destruction by his action? Thank you all.